road, I saw a transport truck pulled over to the side. Its hazards were flashing. At first I wasn't sure if anyone was inside, but as I got closer, I saw that the driver's door was slightly open. I pulled over, thinking that maybe someone needed help. I stepped out of my car and walked over to the truck. There was no one inside, but I noticed that there was a wooded area next to the truck. I called out, "Hello, is anyone there?" But there was no response. As I turned to walk back to my car, I heard a noise behind me. I turned around and saw a man standing there. He was holding a gun and pointing it right at me. He was a big man, probably only 5'10", but muscular. The man didn't say anything, but he kept his gun trained on me. I slowly backed away from him, my hands up. I was too scared to speak, and I could barely think. I kept backing away until I was at my car. I didn't take my eyes off the man the whole time. I carefully opened my car door and got in. Once I was inside, I locked all the doors and started the engine. I watched the man lower his gun as I started to drive. I looked in my rear-view mirror, see the man standing by his truck watching me. I pulled away from the side of the road and drove as fast as I could towards my family's town. My heart was racing as I tried to process what had happened. I had never been in a situation like that before, and it was truly terrifying. I kept replaying the scene in my mind, trying to make sense of it. As I drove, the seriousness of the situation sunk in. The man could have easily shot me or taken my car, but he hadn't. Maybe he was just as scared as I was. I figured he must have thought that I was trying to rob him. That's the only explanation that I can think of. I thought of it more, and now I wonder if that truck driver had something to hide. Maybe there was something in his truck that he didn't want me to see. Or maybe he was doing something in the woods at the side of the road that he didn't want anyone to find out about. These are ideas that I had a long time after the actual incident. So I have no idea what is true. I just don't think he would have pointed a gun at me for nothing. It's just hard to understand. When I finally arrived at my family's town, I felt relieved. I told them what happened. They were shocked and scared for me, but also grateful that I'd made it out okay. We spent the rest of the evening talking and catching up. Needless to say, I didn't sleep that night. I recently made a career change, but I used to work as a truck driver. I was on a long haul, driving through the heart of the Midwest. It was getting dark and it had been a long day. The air was chilly and the wind whistled through the 2-inch space at the top of my window. It was a lonely road and I hadn't seen another vehicle for a while. However, I eventually noticed a car in my rear-view mirror. I didn't care at first, but as I kept driving, the car stayed right behind me. Cars are usually pretty eager to get past me. I had to strictly follow the speed limit. But most cars speed at least a little. It seemed like the car was following me, but I wasn't sure. After around 20 minutes, the car was still there. That's when I noticed a sign for a rest stop. I figured it was time for a break anyway. I thought I might even call it a night. Actually, I decided to pull into the stop to see if the car would follow. When I parked my truck, the car parked right next to me. That was extremely strange because there were separate sections for the trucks and cars. Cars weren't supposed to be there. I got out of my truck and walked around to the front of the car. I could hear its engine idling, and I turned to see the driver staring at me. The car was newish, probably 2005, and it was a Toyota. The color was hard to tell for sure in the dark, but it was some kind of gray or silver. There was a large dent in the right fender. I waved at the driver cautiously, trying to get his attention, but he didn't answer. He just stared straight ahead. I couldn't tell much about the guy except that he was around my age and wore glasses. He also had dark hair and a mustache. Suddenly the car's engine roared to life and it started to roll towards me. I was still standing in front of it.